So one last thing I want to talk about today is something that I found recently. It's actually a recording. It's actually a video. You can find it on YouTube. It took place on a forum put together by CNN where a nun, a Dominican nun, confronted Speaker Ryan with the following question.
Good evening, Mr. Speaker. I know that you're a Catholic, as am I, and it seems to me that most of the Republicans in the Congress are not willing to stand with the poor and working class, as evidenced in the recent debates about health care and the anticipated tax reform. So I'd like to ask you how you see yourself upholding the Church's social teaching that has the idea that God is always on the side of the poor and dispossessed, as should we be.
Okay, it's a great question. It's a fantastic question. It's a question that I guess get asked recurrently. Now, first of all, there's a couple of problems with the situation, namely that Speaker Ryan is being asked to answer a nun, pretty much the embodiment of goodness and selflessness in the world. And so it's like talking to the greatest qualities of your mom embodied in an individual. That is what a sister is. These are completely selfless individuals, by and large, who have given up their lives for the service not only of God but of their fellow man, and particularly if she's an older nun, because not only is she embodied with all the goodness and richness of a wonderful mom, the idyllic view of what a mom should be, but she also has gotten some wisdom, and she shows it. She's seen so many things, and she shows it when she talks to you. So her question is a completely valid one that's actually asked continuously by the left against the right. The right keeps biting the wrong answer. The correct answer is, look, sister, because socialism doesn't work. See, the reason why they ask you this question is because the left conflates the reason why Jesus Christ came to our earth, became man, and actually shared life with us flawed humans. They keep conflating it, and they keep trying to turn Jesus Christ's teaching into socialist philosophies. It is not. Look, Jesus came here for one reason and one reason only: to be the salvation of man, to be the God's sacrifice for humanity, so that humanity could somehow recognize that there is something called forgiveness, and there's something called clemency and pardon in the hands of God. And so his message was always an individual message. It was never a political philosophy. See, Christ never speaks of political philosophy. He never tells you what is the correct form of government. As a matter of fact, he dismisses it. He dismisses it in Matthew 22, if you remember. It's the only time where Jesus was actually confronted with a question about politics. And that was when the Pharisees went out and laid their trap for him, because they knew it was going to be a trap. See, the Pharisees at this time were getting increasingly hostile towards Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ was teaching a new philosophy. It was a new philosophy of love and mercy and equal standing under God. Philosophies that, when taken to their political implications, can only lead to conservative philosophies and natural law. Can only lead to that. But they figured, look, we've got a great idea. What we're going to do is we're going to ask Jesus a question. And we're going to ask Jesus what he thinks about paying taxes, whether he thinks that is legal or not in the eyes of God. And that is the only time that I can find. Maybe somebody else can find something different and write me at thefederalistpages.com and explain to me if there's another location. Yes, there's a time in the temple where Jesus got very upset and started destroying the temple because people were selling goods in the temple. But I don't think that's more of a political philosophical statement by his actions. I think that was more of a of anger and disappointment over the defilement of a sacred place, that you would dare to conduct earthly and worldly transactions in a place of such divine standing. So to me, the only place where he really gets the opportunity to talk politics in the Bible, in the New Testament, is this trick question that the Pharisees bring to him. And when they bring it to him, he gets upset and he calls them, "You hypocrites, why are you trying to trap me?" He sees it. He knows what they're trying to do. They're trying to get him to say, look, taxes are illegal in the eyes of God, because if he did, then they could hang him right there. He said, "Show me the coin. Show me the coin you used to pay for taxes. Whose face is it on this coin, on this denarius? Who is it? Caesar. Well, then give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and give to God what belongs to God." What belongs to Caesar? Worldly things, taxes, profits, obeyance of world laws. That's what belongs to Caesar. This political philosophies of structure and parliament and dictatorships, that belongs to Caesar. What belongs to God? Your soul. Your soul, your life, your every devotion belongs to God. So when we get asked that question, when a conservative gets asked the question about how do you reconcile your philosophies with Jesus' teachings and the New Testament teachings that we should stand with the poor, well, those are all teachings that are directed to you, the individual. You are supposed to be standing with the poor. You're supposed to be standing with the ones who are troubled and conflicted. You are the ones who are supposed to standing with the victims of Hurricane Harvey. That's you. That's on you. That's not on the government. It's not on the government to make you do it. If the moment the government makes you do it, then essentially you're not here. You're now giving up what belongs to God, your responsibility towards the poor, and you're giving it to Caesar, which is exactly not where Jesus wants you to put it. Jesus wants you to work yourself for the poor. The moment you start passing legislation to force to force some wealth redistribution philosophy or remove property, well, not only are you going against this separation between what belongs to Caesar and what belongs to God, and you're morphing the two in some misguided philosophy, but you're also engaging in a practice that by definition will infringe on the rights of the individuals of that society, which, by the way, I'm sure Jesus would not have wanted either. So there's the tension. There's the answer to the sister's question. And then the last part of the answer, which is actually the first part, it all comes full circle, is, look, socialism doesn't work. Because if you take this philosophy that it falls on you as an individual and you transfer it to government, then essentially you're going back to that collectivist model that the left so espouses and recurrently fails. It fails not only in causing economic disaster, but it fails in by way of interfering with that natural law, that relationship that exists with God. And it also interferes with people's lives. I mean, the existence of their lives, because we've seen it time and time again. Millions of people killed because the state's rights supersede the rights of the individual. We definitely don't want to go down this road. So really, if we want to help the poor, if we want to really fight for the cause of the poor, then number one, we free up individuals to pursue their relationship with God. We strengthen God's presence in society. And then we encourage people to work and fulfill their holy obligation to God to help the poor and to improve each of our individual stations here on earth. My name is Dr. Julio Gonzalez, and these are the Federalist Pages. May God bless you, and good day.